Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Wine. Welcome back to art class. Today you will be learning all about how to create a border around your Keith Haring figures and your symbols. So our goal is to get from something that looks like this to something that looks like this. In order to do that, you will need your Keith Haring artwork. Remember, your artwork should have 3 to 4 figures that mostly fill the page. Each figure should be neatly colored in with one color, and you should have drawn 1 or 2 symbols to express a feeling in your artwork. And you will also need markers in many different colors. So let's start with talking about the word border. What is a border? A border is sort of like a frame, or it's something that goes around something. You might see bulletin board borders in your classroom. For this project, I kind of like to think about a border as being a fence that goes all the way around my artwork, or all the way around each figure. So here's how I'm going to do it. Remember when you first started drawing the Keith Haring figures and you drew an outline that went all the way around the stick person? Well, it's going to kind of be the same thing. So I'm going to start with a marker, and I'm trying to use a color that I haven't used yet, and I'm trying to use a color that is not on this figure. And all I have to do to draw my border is just trace around the outside edge of the figure. Now notice I'm not getting too close to the figure. I want to go slowly and carefully. And if my border has to run off the page, that's okay. I just pretend like it keeps going, and I pick up right on the other side. So it's like I'm drawing a little fence that goes all the way around my person. I don't need to squish lines down in between. And there I'm done with my first border. If you're trying to figure out how much space to leave in between, a good suggestion is you want that to be just about as wide as your finger. So if it's really, really skinny, then it's too close together. So I want to start by drawing a border around each and every one of my figures. So maybe I could take a different color and I could go around my next figure. Remember, if it helps you to turn your paper, that's okay. And I'm just going to keep going all the way around. Remember, I'm not going to squish the line up in there. I don't want it to get too close to my figure. So now I've drawn a little red fence all the way around my blue figure. The border goes all the way around. Your symbols need borders as well. So I could take a different color. I don't think I need to turn that around. And I could go around my symbol. And now I've got one more figure. Now part of the problem and where it gets tricky is what are you going to do when these figures get really, really close to each other? So remember, when I'm drawing my border, I want to keep those spaces in between the border nice and wide. So I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to start my border around this figure. And as you can see, this figure is cropped off the page. So I can go ahead and let my border come right off the page. I'll pick it up again. And it's sort of that same idea. When my border is going to get too close to this figure, I don't want to draw the line crisscrossing through, and I don't want to squeeze it in because I want to keep that finger distance. So I can just get up to this line, I stop, I skip over it, and then I can come back. Same thing here. If I don't want to squish it in, I stop, I skip over it, and then I keep going. I have just barely enough room right in there. And that's pretty much it. You just want to keep going and going until you have filled in each and every part of your paper with these borders. So once I have my borders drawn around all of my symbols and all of my figures, I'm just going to get a different color and I'm going to keep going. Now you can see I'm back to where I started. Maybe I can find, I'm going to do a green. I haven't used a green for a border yet. I've only used it for my figure. So now all of my borders are really close to each other. It might take you 2 or 3 times to get that far depending on how big your characters are. But once my figures are that big, what I can do is I can start to make those borders so big that now instead of going in here and skipping, I can just make this border go right into here. I can continue it on the other side. And again, when I get down here, it's too close to squeeze it in. So I can just make this border be like a little fence that keeps going around all of my figures. Slowly and carefully. I don't want to squeeze it in there too far, so I'm going to come right back out. And I just keep going until all my page is full of these borders. I hope you have a wonderful week. I can't wait to see the work that you do. And until next time, keep on creating.